Hey folks, it's Garrett with Above the Hook Fishing again, and we're bringing you a video today talking about how to set up and use your worm stabilizers for whatever kind of fishing you want to do. So when we launched the product, we had some customers confused as to where they tie into their rod, where do the hooks go, or if they want to run a spinning blade attachment, where do they run those? So I've got a jigging stabilizer set up here with all of the little accessories that some customers were kind of concerned about where they go. So on this stabilizer, you're going to see your far forward hole on the body of the stabilizer is going to be where you tie into your line. This more swept back hole on the stabilizer is always going to be where you add your hook, no matter what color body stabilizer you're fishing, whether you're fishing these yellow jigging stabilizers or the green casting stabilizers. And then these yellow jigging stabilizers have this third eyelet here, and that's where you're going to add in your spinning blade attachments if you want to fish this with a little more flash. So tying more into the setup of these stabilizers, I've got a green casting stabilizer rigged up with a hook here, and I've got a worm in this body. Now, the big thing that you want to focus on with this is making sure that you get that worm's head as far forward in the body as you can before you take your stabilizer and insert it into the head of the worm. Now, once you do that, it's pretty simple. You just hold onto your worm, pop the body open, and you are ready to fish a night crawler on your casting stabilizer. Now that you've gotten your worm onto your stabilizer, you're going to want to come up with some ways to rig up your line and hook with your worm. One of the ways that we fish this setup at Above the Hook is to actually use our hook to thread through the worm. So I've got the hook threaded through at the top, and then once again at the bottom of this fella, and that's just going to allow the hook to travel with the worm, but still allows the worm to swim and maintain its natural form. Another way we like to set up and fish night crawlers on this stabilizer at Above the Hook is to actually just stick the hook through the worm like you would fishing a bass plastic or a plastic worm. Another thing we also like to do is throw on a chunk of power bait here at the top of the stabilizer. Don't have to do anything special to get it on there. You just push through that little nugget of power bait and it's ready to rock. One of the things that's going to happen to you when you're fishing these stabilizers and you're using live bait, the bristles on the stabilizer are going to get kind of gunked up from the worm, the dirt that they're packaged in. You know, I got a little bit of power bait here on my fingers, and this is the stabilizer I used that had power bait up here at the front. One of the things you're going to want to do is get a dollar store toothbrush, and you're just going to want to use the dollar store toothbrush to clean this thing off periodically, you know, every couple of worms. You know, give it a good brushing just to make sure that the bristles can still grab and do what they need to, and it just helps keep these stabilizers looking nice. Another thing you'll run into is your worm gripper body is going to get gunk in it as well. Same thing, the dirt that the worms are packaged in, you know, maybe a little water got on your power bait. Same thing happened here. So we got a little pink coming on from the power bait. We got some dirt in there. Every couple of worms with your dollar store toothbrush, you're just going to want to scrub out this body. Make sure you get the top and bottom, you know, and you're fishing, so you'll be by water, so you can kind of swish it around and get it cleaned up, getting back to factory new. So as we get more in depth to this setup video and the how-tos and just kind of giving you guys ideas, some of you out there aren't going to fish live bait as much as you fish plastics. So fishing the plastics is easy. All you need to do is push the stabilizer through the plastic. So we'll go ahead and push this plastic through halfway on this worm. So for you guys that like to fish a wacky worm, all you have to do is just push it through the side of the plastic. It's that easy. If you don't want to do that and you want to fish it like a traditional worm, all you do is grab up here on the front of the plastic and push it in, and there you go. So now that we've discussed rigging up the bait, getting your stabilizer rigged up on your rod, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the attachments and things you can add to these stabilizers. So utilizing this stabilizer with your third hole, you're going to take this hole that's more perpendicular, and that is where you're going to attach your single blades. I would try to demo getting this little ring clip on, but I just couldn't get it. But if you have a set of car keys, goes on the same exact way. Your line ties into here for your hook, and then you tie in here for your rod line. If you want to run 2 blades instead of 1 because you want more flash, that's no problem. You're just going to need to go find one of these dual blade setups that has this little rubber eyelet with a hole. You can run these on the stabilizers. All you have to do is just come through the center hole, push it over the bristles, and just pull it all the way up against the body of the stabilizer. Now, if you like to fish lures or baits or whatever with big skirts, that's no problem too. All you have to do is go find yourself these individual skirts, pick out whatever color you like. Now, these set up a little differently than everything else. The first thing that you're going to want to do is actually run your hook through the middle of the skirt before you push the bristles of the stabilizer through. So we've got the base of our hook through. Let's go ahead and pull it through, let it hang, and then we'll take our stabilizer, push it through the skirt, and now you have your casting stabilizer or jigging stabilizer, whatever you decide to set up on with a skirt, and you still use it the same way. You push the bristles through the head of the worm when the worm is in the gripper, or at this point you can add your plastic or whatever you decide to add. Well, I know the video was brief, but there you have it, folks. That is the basics and the how-tos on how to set up the casting and jigging stabilizers so that you guys can get out on the water when all this snow melts and start slaying some fish. If you like the product and you want to buy it, there's a link in the description below. Go ahead and click on that. That'll take you to the website. You can buy the product. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, there's also a section in the website where you can get a hold of us and we can get back to you and answer any of those questions that you may or may not have that weren't covered in this video.